Hi there folks, and welcome to this episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. Oh my goodness, I gotta stay off Facebook Marketplace. Why? Because I keep finding some good deals and I can't resist. When I see a boat, I've been looking for a green boat. Now take for granted, I've been looking for a green boat that was like the glass bar, fiberglass mini tri-hull 14 footer from the 1970s, early 70s. But when I saw this green machine show up on the market, I'm like, oh my God, and the price was right, and I couldn't resist it, and I almost thought I wasn't gonna get it. There was two people ahead of me in line, and the guy I bought it from has outstanding integrity. Kudos to Mike, appreciate your integrity, bud. Most people would like start taking offers, and then people would, you know, whoever showed up first got it. I've been halfway driving on a 2-hour trip halfway somewhere before when I thought I had a deal made with somebody, then somebody showed up and bought it out from under me before I got there. I thought I'd close the deal, you know, via messaging. But kudos to Mike for being an upstanding guy. You know, I was third in line and he let me know that right up front. He had two people ahead of me. And lo and behold, I thought I'd missed out because it sounded like the couple that was coming to get the boat was gonna take it. But then at the last minute backed out, and Mike sends me a message, hey, still interested? I'm like, yes sir. I sent it right back. He gave me his number. I called him. I said, hey, I'll be there. Let me go to the bank, get some cash out, and I'll head your way. And that's exactly what I did. He's about a little over an hour and a half away from me from where I live. So I made the drive, went and got it. And to top it all off, you guys know I have a soft spot in my heart, and I'll tell you why. I have a soft spot in my heart for Starcraft. And why? Because Starcraft boats for me is what got me started into boats, got this channel really going and off the ground, doing outboard motor and boat stuff. You guys seem to enjoy a lot of the boat stuff I do, and that's why I continue to do it. Plus, I enjoy the living crap out of it as well. So over here, just the first blue cover you see there is the 1976 Starcraft. That's the OG, that's the original gangster. That's the first one I bought, first boat I bought. And worked on it, redid a lot of stuff to it. Follow the links in the description down below to get you to the series of me working on that boat and what I've done to update it. And we're actually gonna take that out on the lake, or not a lake, we're gonna go out in the Mississippi. Now you're probably seeing this video after you've seen that boat in the Mississippi, most likely, maybe, maybe not. But that's the one that I've got me started, got the fishing fever going. First 2 years I had it on the water, like over 40 times each summer. And then I got to working on the outboards and messed around with the motors and videoing that for you guys. And since then I haven't fished quite as much, but you know, it's one of those things, if you enjoy it, do it. Now, I enjoy fishing a whole lot, but also, you know, a day spent in my shop or out here in the back of a boat messing around with a motor, I enjoy that just as much. So it's not like I'm missing out on fishing. I'm doing something I love. So you do something you love, you never work a day in your life, right? Unfortunately, I do work for a living and this is a hobby. But this boat, we're gonna go over it here. I'm gonna show you some features on it. It's a 1967, that's what it's titled at, 1967. I'm trying to remember the make. It's a 1967 Starcraft Holiday. And the difference between this and my other boat is this is a closed bow. The steering console is easily 3 feet further up toward the front of the boat, which opens up the whole back of the boat for all kinds of space. And I'll show you what, somebody's restored this. I had fun with it, and doing some things inside, and they didn't do a half bad job. It actually looks pretty respectable. Right now, all the seats are slid around, so what I'm gonna show you is gonna be a little misleading. But my 1976 back there is an open bow, which has seating around the front, so it pushes the steering wheel and stuff back. Good news is it's a 120 horse Mercruiser that's on inside this boat. So that's the 4-cylinder. That's a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. I have now 3 of those in boats total. Why? Because I like them. They're reliable, they're easy to work on, and did I mention reliable? Let's take a little tour around the outside of this boat. I'm going to show you some of the things that I really liked, that really appealed to me in the, just seeing a picture of it, it's like, yep, that baby's got to be mine. Let's walk around it. Now the first thing you'll notice is this is a Shorlander trailer. And this thing is heavy flipping duty. This is some decent gauge tubing, not channel, tubing that this is made out of. It's got steps on both on the front of the tire and on the back. You can step on the tail light mount. I mean, this is designed to be a step spot. Now this has a piece of board that will go right here that has a couple U-clamps. I have that U-clamp. I have that stuff. Somebody has done a really good job of welding right here to make sure that doesn't slip. So I'll be tightening these bolts up a little bit more and putting new carpet and a new board on there for my guide for the rear end of the boat, for the rear end of the trailer for the boat. Come back here, we got the old Mecruiser outdrive with the big old prop. Got your standard little hanger here going on because, as everybody knows, these things over time, the hydraulics don't necessarily hold it, and you get halfway home and you be dragging your skeg on the ground. Another feature that I thought was really cool that this already had on it is it has a kicker motor mount, and it's actually a pretty nice one. Now there's a few bolts I need to tighten up here, but it's an OMC made in Beloit, Wisconsin. I think this is I don't know how old this is, but it looks like it's been on here for a minute. But you pop this forward, and when you have the weight of the motor on, this will go down easier. But yeah, that goes all the way down and clicks into place. Now you're ready to kicker motor, so you can do some trolling. You flip this back and push down, upsy daisy. So that's already on the boat. Now I did notice it's got 4 bolts through the transom. It's solid. Actually, it's got a little wiggle here, so I'm gonna have to tighten some things up. But you know, this is some little touch-up stuff we got to do here. As like I said, the rest of the boat is in really good shape. Now it has been repainted. You can see here indications of the original paint where some of this paint has flaked off. That's okay. You know, you know me, when it comes to looks, perfection isn't my thing. It's making it run right and operate right and do what it's supposed to do. But the glass looks like it's in good shape. The trailer, I'll probably replace this here rope with a belt. A lot of people are using those toe strap type belts now. But look at the front of this thing. This thing is, I mean, where this mounts here is sturdy. It's got a 2-inch ball. It's got a new front trailer jack, tongue jack there with a wheel on it. But I pulled it home, 1.5 hours. Trailer bearings didn't even get warm. So that tells me that the bearings are probably in good shape. This will be the first trailer in the history of me buying trailers, boat trailers, that actually is the case. Let's take a little stare down on the inside of this thing. Now what you guys are seeing here is just as I drug it home. I haven't done anything other than come off the highway and park this thing. Now what it has here, it looks like the original seats that would cover the tank and the battery on the back here. Those would plop right back into place. But then the gas tank slid around a little bit because it's not strapped down. And somebody was taking, I'm sure this had a metal gas tank originally. Somebody's got a plastic one in here for now, which ain't a bad idea. I'm actually got to put 2 new tanks in the old Starcraft Highlander, and I'm thinking about buying some 12-gallon plastics versus the steel ones that I took out. Now what somebody did is they took one of these plastic shelves and put it together, riveted it and whatnot, and made some portable seats out of it. So these can go, you know, 2 people can sit here back to back here. And then they did a shorter version of it for up front. And here again we have another one that goes over the gas tank, another seat. But while I'm working on this thing, I'll take all these seats out, so I got plenty of place to crawl around and work on things. Steering wheel feels like it steers pretty good. Now some of these cables, the covering's all gone on, they look a little tough. Chances are I'll replace those cables. But it's got the old mirror control here. The gauges actually look like they're in really good shape. We'll see how many of them work. A couple of buttons here. I'm guessing one's a horn button. Got a couple pull switches. Got our trim. Got our key. But and then it's got your glass here, which we can maybe, there we go. Can open that up, and I guess it had some steps here. I got those with it too, that where you can actually take a couple steps and climb up onto the bow of this thing. Now, I'm not sure if somebody my size would really want to be walking around on the bow of this joker. Let's crawl up in here and see what's going on. Oh, there's some like 1x3 stringers in here. It looks like maybe it's a poplar wood, or maybe it looks like it's a fine grain. Maybe it's a hardwood like an oak or something. But the wiring looks pretty clean under here. You know, it hasn't been all molested like you see on some things. We can do a little straightening up, but it ain't gonna take much. But yeah, looks like some of these support boards here could be done a little differently to actually generate support, versus right now they're just kind of wiggly under here, and do a better job. Did I mention it's a little warm under here? But no, this is at the right angle that you can lay down and take a nap. That's not bad at all. So anyway, let's sneak back out of here on a fat boy in a little boat. Okay, getting up now. But yeah, let's look at the part you guys really want to look at. Let's take a closer look at that engine. And I'll tell you a little bit of what I know about the engine so far. And what I know about the engine is exactly what Mike told me about the engine. And we'll do a little more investigating and come up with some more information on it. Okay, let's move this engine cover somewhere over here. Now, like I said, this is a 120 horse Mercruiser. The head on it, he did say it blew a head gasket. Apparently something happened with the exhaust, let a little water get into the head, blew out the head gasket on number 4 cylinder. Apparently it didn't do any other damage to the cylinder, which is great, but he did have the head reworked by a machine shop. He had it just decked off. They checked it for cracks, no flaws, no fouls, and he put it back on and it runs like a champ. We got new spark plug wires already on it, which is awesome. He did say last year he put a new water pump in the outdrive. Check that one off the list. And you know, some people you gotta wonder, are you telling me the truth? This Mike, I guarantee you, was telling me the truth. He seemed like a really good stand-up guy, and he had no reason to BS me on this motor. But yeah, we'll get out here real soon and put the old muffs on it, and we'll fire it up to see how well it does run, and see if there's anything else that needs to be done to it. He did mention something. He asked me a question about the choke on it. So I have a feeling the choke may not be adjusted to absolutely correct. So we'll dig into that first. He did put a new water pump on it. So it's got a brand new water pump. And the belt looks like it's in pretty good shape. So overall, pretty cool. This one I will probably put a electronic ignition on it. And he kind of made a comment. He goes, why would you put electronic ignition on it if the points work so well? Well, you know, just because I'm a dope and I do things a little different. And he did put I think you need to have a metal fuel filter on here, but he's got a fuel line put on here going straight to the fuel pump, straight out of like a mercury connection, which is fine. That actually is not a bad idea for a trip I'm planning on doing with the boat here in the years to come. That might be the way to go with my tanks, is have a quick connect. Instead of trying to dump fuel on the boat, I can just move tanks back and plug them in, and we're on our way again. But yeah, the battery came with it. I'll throw the battery on the charger and we'll go from there. He said he just got the trim working, put some fluid in it, and he feels like there's still some air and air bubbles in there, but so we'll take a look at that too. But this ain't far from, you know, other than the gimbal boot, or the gimbal boot being, he said that has a hole in it, has a crack in it, a hole in it, but that's not going to hurt me for starting it up. It's going to only hurt you when you go to put it in the water and water goes where you don't want it to be. That's the tour of the boat. He said all the fans work, the switches work, the lights work, just got to plug it in. He's got them unplugged for now. But anyway, I think we'll do a little, we might actually get the, don't tell my wife, we'll get the carpet scrubber out here and we'll scrub the carpets and see if we can bring them back a little bit. Because they are kind of black on top. A little dirty, not the pretty green. And we might do something back here to cover that. Typically this is covered like in a vinyl, but the seat's gonna hide most of it, so maybe I will or won't worry about it. But yeah, it's, overall the boat's in pretty clean and straight condition. I'm excited about it, as you guys can probably tell. So the wheels look a little rusty, but it's not, it's just surface. That'll clean up really nice, and I'll just probably repaint those. It's a radial trailer tire, which is really nice, pulls really nice. These are 14-inch tires. I mean, this thing pulled down the highway like a dream. I was running 70 and 75 miles an hour with it behind the old Jeep, and it was just rock solid back there. This trailer is built right. It does have roller bunks in here, which the rollers look like they're in pretty good shape. I've seen these before where they're just completely toast as far as they're oblonged and egg. These look like they might work. Now, one thing I will say, when you're dealing with roller trailers, like with my bunk style trailers, the boat sticks to the bunk pretty good. So you never want to, when you're running this thing down the ramp, you never want to unhook this until you're ready to actually let it go, because like this with the roller style, well, obviously boat ramps are at an angle. If this thing was running downhill, and if it was happened to be stuck on the bunk somehow, or the roller somehow, one tap of the brake would let this thing go whew, right on off onto the ramp, onto the concrete, and that could ruin your day. One thing we will have to get for this is a spare tire. We don't have one of those. But the tongue of this thing is pretty heavy duty. I mean, that's like a 4-inch by 3-inch would be my guess. Now my safety chains are a little short, so I'm going to get longer chains so I can get them onto my hooks. But yeah, that's a 3-inch by 4-inch beam. That's some serious beam there. This thing, like I said, pulled very solid. Now up here on the deck, because it is they did have steps up there, and that's usually so I can, like me, when I do my loading and unloading off the trailer, I like to crawl up here and I'll reach down and I'll hook the trailer and give it a couple of winds and then let somebody yank me out of the water. This looks like it had some kind of vinyl that looked like a wood grain look to it, so it looked like it had a wooden top on it. We'll find us some stuff. I might use some of that. I'm actually in the market for 2 boats that put sea deck in them, and this would be a good place to put some of that sea deck. That looks like wood, but it's foam, so it's comfortable on your feet, comfortable on your knees if you're crawling around. I thought this was kind of interesting how it had 2 bow cleats up here, you know, tie out cleats. That would be kind of handy, I suppose, if you're, say, you had an inner tube. You could go up here and throw an inner tube across this hood here and tie it down, and that way you don't take up any of your space where your bodies are at. Well, as you can see, both of these boats are identical. They're both 18-foot boats, the same width, same depth, same everything there. But you can also see the difference in this Shorlander trailer is dropping the boat a little closer to the water than my bunk style is dropping it into the water, which is just fine and dandy. I have no problem launching this boat at all. But so this one's called Fat Fishing. That boat there I'm calling the Islander, because I'm calling it the Island. It's a Starcraft Islander. I haven't named this one yet though. Yes, it's called a Holiday, but I don't want to call it a Holiday. Being that it's green, I'm leaning toward calling it Pickle Rick. Now, you guys out there that watch me, send me some ideas for some names. If you can come up with something that really piques my interest that's better than Pickle Rick, I might go that way, and we'll make a decal and we'll put it right on the back of the boat just like I did here. Well, that's all I'm going to bore you with for today on this particular boat. We've got some other projects I'm working on this weekend. I got to get done on these 2 boats. This one I'm planning on taking out in the water tomorrow. I think I've fixed an electronic ignition issue that's been haunting me for over 3 years. And I think because I was doing the electronic ignition on the Islander, I believe I've come up with what I did wrong here. So I'm going to fix it and see if I get rid of my dead spot in my throttle. And what better place to try that out than on the Mississippi River? So stay tuned for that. It's coming up real soon, probably this weekend. If this video drops tonight, it's a Friday night, chances are you'll see how this video turned out coming Sunday morning. And then we're also going to be jumping back into the old Islander here and finish. We've got the motor almost, we got it 90% back together. I got to put oil filter and stuff like that on it. And also do the little fix on it that I'm going to do on this one to make sure it runs right. We got new plugs, new plug wires. So stay tuned for that video coming up after this video, which is after this video. Does that all make sense? Boy, the cicadas are really loud in the trees tonight. You hear them? Just carrying on. I hope you can hear them. Makes for a lot of noise. We got a lot of frogs around here in the spring, and now we got these things going on, making all kinds of noise. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with my purchase, my find today. I honestly have a feeling I'll have this on the water this year yet. Here we are in August, and I got some work to do. I got plenty of work to do, but before I winterize this thing, I'd really like to go out and see what it does, see how that motor performs on the water, so I know what I got to look forward to next spring. Anyway, follow the links below to these three boats. These three boats will have a series of videos that are all together. So if you're interested in one, you can watch the rest of them that involve that boat. And we'll see you on the next video. Folks, get out there and have some fun. Enjoy life. Don't be afraid to smile at people. You'll find out you'll get a smile back. Spread smiles, they're free. It makes people happy. This is Michael saying, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. Get out there and have some fun. I'll see you on the next video, and I'm out. Out of my mind. Why did I get another boat? I'm losing it. I'm completely losing it.